In Washington, a quiet crisis is unfolding, one that touches every city, suburb, and rural area. From the bustling streets of Seattle to the tranquil corners of rural towns, the signs are everywhere. This crisis doesn't discriminate by geography or background. It's a growing challenge that is reshaping the fabric of our communities. Homelessness is no longer hidden. It's a daily reality for thousands of our neighbors. Every day, more people are forced to live in public spaces, their struggles visible to all who pass by. The faces of homelessness are as diverse as the state itself. Men, women, children, and families, each with their own story. Tents under overpasses and people seeking shelter in doorways have become unsettlingly familiar. These makeshift homes are stark reminders of the urgent need for solutions. For many, the sidewalk or a park bench is the only option left. As shelters fill up and affordable housing becomes harder to find, the crisis grows steadily, affecting families, seniors, and young people alike. Children do their homework in shelters, while seniors wait in line for a warm meal. The impact ripples through generations, making it harder for people to break the cycle of poverty and instability. It's not just a big city problem, it's statewide, driven by years of economic pressure and a fraying safety net. Even in small towns and suburbs, the signs of homelessness are impossible to ignore. Rising rents, stagnant wages, and a shortage of affordable housing have left many Washingtonians just one crisis away from losing their homes. A single setback, like a medical bill or job loss, can push anyone into homelessness. For some, it's an unexpected illness. For others, it's the loss of a job or a sudden rent increase. The margin for error is razor thin, and the safety nets that once caught people are now stretched to the breaking point. Behind every tent is a unique story, a reminder that those experiencing homelessness are fellow Washingtonians deserving of dignity. Each person has hopes, dreams, and a past, often filled with hard work and contributions to their communities. Their current situation is not a reflection of their worth, but of a system struggling to keep up. This isn't just a policy debate, it's a moral imperative demanding empathy and action. Communities across Washington are stepping up, volunteers, nonprofits, and neighbors working together to provide food, shelter, and hope. But lasting change will require all of us to look beyond stereotypes and see the humanity in every person affected. The question is, will we rise to meet it? The future of our state depends on how we respond to this crisis. Together, we can build a Washington where everyone has a place to call home. The numbers reveal the scale of Washington's housing crisis. It's a crisis that has been growing steadily over the years, affecting more and more people across the state. As of January 2025, over 158,000 people were homeless or unstably housed, a 2.2% increase from last year. This number is not just a statistic, it represents real people, families, and communities struggling to find stability. The annual point-in-time count found more than 22,000 people homeless on a single night, with a third unsheltered. This snapshot highlights the urgent need for immediate solutions and long-term strategies. And that's without full data from King County, meaning the real number is even higher. The lack of comprehensive data makes it challenging to fully grasp the extent of the crisis. Nationally, homelessness surged 18% in 1 year, and Washington is among the states with the highest rates. This alarming trend is a call to action for policymakers and communities alike. Despite $1.8 billion in new investments, the crisis persists. The funds are crucial, but they are not enough to turn the tide. As Commerce Director Joe Nguyen says, the numbers are still too high. The investments need to be paired with innovative approaches and community-driven solutions. Funding alone isn't enough. We need smarter, more effective strategies. Collaboration between government, nonprofits, and the private sector is essential to make a real impact. The data demands urgent, compassionate action. It's a call to not just address the symptoms, but to tackle the root causes of homelessness, ensuring that everyone has a safe and stable place to call home. Homelessness is now part of Washington's landscape, shaping how residents and visitors see our state. In cities like Seattle, encampments and RVs line streets once bustling with tourists. Even parks and natural spaces are affected, as people seek refuge wherever they can. This visibility challenges our image as a progressive, prosperous place. It forces us to confront tough questions. Who belongs in our public spaces? How do we balance safety, compassion, and community? The crisis is a mirror reflecting our values and priorities. What kind of Washington do we want the world and ourselves to see? At the root of the crisis is a simple truth. Housing costs have soared far beyond what most can afford. Washington hasn't built enough affordable homes for its growing population. For every 100 extremely low-income households, only 35 affordable rentals exist. Rents have risen 23% since 2001, while renter incomes grew just 5%. Many spend over half their income on housing, leaving them one emergency away from homelessness. Minimum wage workers can't afford a modest apartment anywhere in the state. Stagnant wages and rising costs force impossible choices. And for too many, homelessness is the only option left. Until we close the gap between earnings and housing costs, the crisis will continue. Homelessness is a crisis that can touch anyone, regardless of age, background, or circumstance. But while it's true that no one is immune, the reality is that some groups are far more vulnerable than others, and the impact on their lives can be devastating and long-lasting. Families with children are facing an alarming rise in homelessness. In fact, there's been a 33% increase nationwide, and more than 148,000 children are now without stable homes. These young people are forced to navigate school, friendships, and growing up while dealing with the uncertainty and trauma of not knowing where they'll sleep at night. The effects can ripple through their entire lives, impacting education, health, and future opportunities. Older adults, especially those over 55, are now the fastest-growing group experiencing homelessness. Many have worked hard their whole lives, only to find themselves priced out of housing as rents soar and retirement savings fall short. For seniors, homelessness brings unique challenges: declining health, limited mobility, and fewer support networks, making it even harder to regain stability. Racial inequities run deep in our society. Black, Indigenous, Latino, and Asian American communities are disproportionately represented among the homeless population. This isn't by chance, it's the result of generations of systemic barriers, including discrimination in housing, employment, and access to resources. These communities often face higher rates of poverty and fewer opportunities to build generational wealth, making them more vulnerable to housing instability. Gender-expansive people, including transgender and non-binary individuals, are also at heightened risk. They experience homelessness at much higher rates than the general population, often due to family rejection, discrimination, and violence. For many, shelters and services aren't safe or welcoming, leaving them exposed to even greater dangers on the streets. These disparities aren't accidental. They're the result of policy decisions and a long history of exclusion. Laws, zoning, and social safety nets have often failed to protect the most vulnerable, and sometimes have even made things worse. Understanding who is most affected by homelessness is the first step toward creating real, lasting solutions. It means listening to those with lived experience and recognizing the unique challenges faced by each group. We must target support where it's needed most, providing tailored resources, safe shelter, and long-term pathways out of homelessness for families, seniors, people of color, and LGBTQ+ individuals. Equity must be at the heart of our response. Only by addressing the root causes and removing barriers can we hope to break the cycle and build a more just and compassionate community. No one should be left behind. Together, we can ensure that everyone has a safe place to call home and the support they need to thrive. Amid the crisis, there's proof that progress is possible. Focused efforts to end veteran homelessness cut the number of homeless veterans by 55% between 2009 and 2022. The key? Housing first, getting veterans into homes quickly, then providing support. Programs like HUD-VASH and Rapid Assistance made a measurable difference. This success shows that with clear goals, resources, and collaboration, we can solve even entrenched problems. The work isn't finished, but the blueprint exists. If we can do it for veterans, we can do it for everyone. Permanent Supportive Housing, PSH, is a proven solution for chronic homelessness. PSH combines affordable housing with voluntary support services for those facing complex challenges. Over 90% of PSH residents remain housed long-term, rebuilding their lives with stability. It's not just compassionate, it saves public money by reducing costly emergency services. Yet funding for PSH is at risk, and there's not enough to meet demand. We must protect and expand these programs at every level of government. PSH works, both for people and for public budgets. The challenge is scaling it up to reach everyone in need. Housing is healthcare, and it's a right. Let's invest in what works. The scale of homelessness in Washington is daunting, but not insurmountable. Our response systems are overwhelmed. For every person housed, more fall into crisis. Prevention is key. Rental assistance, eviction prevention, and legal aid can keep people in their homes. The biggest obstacle? A lack of affordable housing. We need bold action, change zoning, streamline building, and invest in new homes. Public awareness and community support are growing, our greatest assets. Collaboration across sectors is essential for systemic change. We know what works. Now we must scale it up. With strategic investment and united effort, we can build a Washington where everyone has a home. The opportunity is ours, if we choose to act. Homelessness is a test of our shared humanity. Do we accept a reality where thousands sleep on the streets, or do we build a community where everyone has a home? The answer defines us. Empathy is the starting point for real change. We know the solutions. Permanent supportive housing, rapid rehousing, and proven programs. What's needed now is the will to act, together. Advocate, support, and welcome affordable housing in your neighborhood. Let's choose compassion over judgment, action over apathy. Let's be the generation that ends homelessness in Washington. The time to act is now, for all our neighbors and for the soul of our community.